Hey everybody, it's OK Fixer here. Welcome back to my garage. Welcome back to the nightmare, the mess, the giant goat screw. I clean it up. What we're going to do today, this is the 6th part of Race to the DMV, and we're going to install a gas tank and the hood, the doors, front seat, and quarter windows. And this will allow me to be able to pull this in and out at my leisure, and I'll be able to park that in here. So gas tank first, and we're going to use a little of the old, can find it. Where did I put that? It's got to be here somewhere. Anyways, oh, there it is. I put it right here. Little Permatex to seal some of the hoses and stuff. It'll help seal them. We'll get our wiring out of the way and set that down there. I also have a new foam seal that goes around there. So let's get after it. I'll push the hose on there and crimp that down, and I've already got a crimp clamp on that hose, so it's easy. I'd put a little spit on that nozzle too to take and push that hose on there. So this hose was, if you notice, it was kind of, this clamp was kind of put on askew. So that's the way I'm going to put it back together, because that's the way it fits. Okay, I'm going to put a little oh, you can't do that? Yeah, sure you can. Help that all slip together and seal up too. Oh, you gotta have two hands to do that. I screwed a new plastic handle on there I got from Wolfsburg, and greased the cable also, so it works pretty good now. This is some premium I got out of the 67. I'm not seeing any leaks. If you have one of these gas cans, screw yourself go down to the hardware or whatever and get yourself a nozzle for a like a 3/4 ton rim. They screw in place. Take the Schrader out of it, drill a small hole, just screw that in there with a wrench. It'll screw right in there. You might want to put a little tape around it, and you can put a cap on it, and now you got a vent, and you can empty that really quick. start that in gear. That's going to choke a lot if I don't do that. Let's see how that's going to work there. Got oil? Yeah. Okay. Contact. Remember, that might have some water in it. That'll be good enough to drive around and get it into the backyard. Okay. Gas gauge work? Yeah, not reading anything. I only put about a gallon in there. It should have read something though. Bad ground, maybe. Okay. I guess it needs a ground. I don't know. I'll have to look at that and see. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do the quarter glasses. I pulled, it's kind of gotten cold and wet and rainy and crappy out, so I pulled the doors and the trunk lid and I put them under the carport so I'll be able to get to them so they're not all wet. But we'll have to put this quick edge on. You're going to start right about here. You can see where the bolts go. You can see the holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes right there. I think there's 5 holes. And so you're going to start just above that and just below that and put your quick edge in right around there like that. I'm going to put a couple screws in there loose, and I've got a small little screwdriver here that I can move this up and down and get a little where I can get it lined up. I did this before using all new parts and it was evil. Boy, I got one in and then I had to use the long ones for the and draw it up and get another short one in. And find the holes. Oh man, it was like an all-day process of doing that. It was terrible. But since this has already been done, it's much easier. Why am I not going to replace the seal? Because it's not. I replaced the seals on my other one and they leak. So it's like why? And they're not completely gone, so I think they're okay. It kind of wicks the water away and out. It's got kind of a lip, so yeah, I'm not going to do that. All right, let me get these all together. Oh, and I got new covers also.
There, then we have no pump left. Think COVID Grinch.
Well, there you go. I have them both in. Everything looks okay. Everything worked pretty good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the hood on. Abner had pounded this really bad, and he had put a dent right here. And so I tried to pound it back out, but you know. This one has a little scrape on it, but what's cool about this one is it's solid. So I think this is for the 68 that I picked, and then I have some new grommets we're going to put underneath there. We do have our hood latch greased. It should work, and we'll mount this up and we'll get that hood on there, and it should be fine. See the difference between these two? This one's pressed with inserts, and this one is a solid piece. As Volkswagen got newer and newer, as they got newer and newer, they got lighter and lighter and cheaper and cheaper. So these little deals press in like this, so it sets kind of like on top of them. They make two of them. They make a black one and they make a clear one. This particular car did originally have clear ones on it. You can see what's left of them right here, and they were indeed clear. I used my my zapper and I lined them all back up again, and I'll show you how this thing fits. It's not too bad. So let's see here. Let's see what I can do. There you go. The lines are perfect. The lines they're just wonderful. The seal fits really nice. Fits just like it's supposed to. Just really nice. So let's pop that. Hold on. Figured you didn't want to hear about Hannah and her blue and gold sausage. Okay, that pops nice. But see, it's hangs up here a little bit. But the way it fits, I'm happy with that. I can do a little massaging later, I guess. But the bolts are right perfect. Has a lot to do with how Abner picked this up and bent it. So, and how the hood was bent also. But it shuts really nice. I'm really happy with that. I like the lines too, are really good. Okay, door next. Amazing. We got a beautiful little snowfall. Still coming down a couple of inches. It's awful wet. And it's not freezing here, so it's not going to stick. But the Beetle was parked right there until I moved it here. And I was able to do it under its own power. You didn't get to see it, but I did it last night before it snowed. But kind of had a lot going on and kind of back, and so we'll start back up again. And we've got a nice little fire in here. Oh yeah, it's nice and warm. Freezing out, but it's nice and warm. Not quite freezing out, but anyways. Okay. I managed to get the doors on. And shutting reasonably. I still got to do a little more massaging. I got a seat in it and brakes adjusted and whatnot like that. And I took it down the street and back, and seems to be okay. I'm going to test drive it a little bit more when I go to the DMV. Now, what I need to do is I need to put these fenders on, but I'm not done painting, and I've got some rust repair to do, and so I'm going to put like four bolts on them maximum. I'm not putting any welting in them. I'm just getting it so I can take and get it to the DMV. That's it, just so I can get a VIN check on it. I've got to do some stuff to the engine. I've got to fold that lip down. Seal's got to go on around the engine, the little lip seal, and then air cleaner and some hoses, and breastplate, some other little things. Oh, and I'll put the tailpipes on. This thing's crazy loud with no pipes on it, but I put my hand up there, you know, on the exhaust, and there's nothing leaking. So I just stuck the tips in it and it just quieted it right down to nothing. And I think where the loud's coming from, it's coming underneath this little tail here and kind of reverberating. So we've got to put those tips on. And like I said, rear fenders, and I'm just going to do it so I can get some lights on it and get it to the DMV. Okay, so let's get started on this, and man, we gotta get this down there. I think this is going to be the final video till we get it down there. Yeah, you can't really see. You would think you'd be able to move these out of the way and slip these on, but you're gonna have to undo these and slip them on there. You want to make sure that you got and that way you can get to the screw, because if you put the screw on the other side, yeah. I'm going to leave them loose because I have to move these around in order to get that breastplate in there the right way, and we'll have to put those on too. Those are what hold the hose on, and I might tack those on with a weld, so don't know yet. Might have the wrong screws in there. I'll have to take out. Have to look at that. Let me. Oh God, that rubber's got to go down there too. I haven't got that little rubber piece down. Let me get that down there too. Okay, I used a little spit to get that down on there, and it slid right down in there. And you kind of got to move these around so they're centered up in there, so the little rubber gizmos go over them and seal them up. And then then you can tighten up the clamps underneath. Also, I'm leaving this loose for right now because in order to get these on, there you go, you have to finagle these. Incidentally, these are never on those cars. It's like they take them off and they're just like, oh, what are these? Oh, okay. Don't need them. There's little asbestos gizmos that go up there that seal up against the, and they keep the heat from coming back up into the engine compartment and getting sucked up through the fan. So if you don't have these, go find yourself a set of them. That's what those screw holes are for on the end of your cylinder tins. All right, I tried to use all the original Cheesy Wheezies that were in there, and don't fault me for not using an original washer. Next, we're gonna tighten those clamps up, and then we'll put our rubber grommets on, and our hoses and our clamps. Then I'm going to need to clean out that air cleaner. Oh, and pipes. I think we should be done here. Now, I'm not going to put clamps on these. We're only going about 4 miles, 5 miles, and I think we're going to be okay. And the reason why I'm not putting clamps on them, because I have to have my fuel pump and my carburetor. That's not the right carburetor for the car, but I need to have that fuel pump rebuilt, or I'll do it myself. And yeah, so got much more to do. Again, all we're trying to do is get it to the DMV. It's crap like this that just really hacks me off. So I get this thing on, right? But it won't squeeze tight enough because it's got these big nasty whatevers right there. Keeping it from squeezing tighter. And then I looked on the side of it and it said Brazil. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we'll have to adapt them in order to make them work. I ground those off, and I decided instead of a cheese head screw, instead of a Cheesy Wheezy, I put a hex bolt up in there. It's one of those 10-9s, those gold ones. Chinese, but it's supposed to be strong, and you can get a real crank on it. And while you're doing this, you know, I can't do it with both hands, but while you're doing this, you can feel up here. You can feel up here. Get my other hand. And you can see where you want it so it's not rubbing on the breastplate. So, all right. I cut my pipes a little bit before. A little bit. I cut my pipes before I put my little rubbers on. So I found that this one on the passenger side is a little bit longer than the one on the driver's side. I cut my pipes a little bit before. A little bit. I cut my pipes before I put my little rubbers on. So I found that this one on the passenger side is a little bit longer than the one on the driver's side. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I put the rubber grommet on there. On the 67, I put clamps on the bottom, and I found out you didn't need them, but I didn't bother taking them off. So let's fit this here a little bit. Squeeze that on there. Like that. There you go. And we'll pull that down a little bit. And again, having these little rubber boots here, it keeps any of the hot air from the exhaust coming up into the engine bay. And I've got my clamp this way here, and I'll do the other one the same way. That way I can get to the Phillips screw really easily. I had to grab onto these with a pair of pliers. They're the Wolfsburg aftermarket ones to get a good enough bite to tighten them up. Okay, and then once these were down here, these little rubber deals fit so nice around that hose that you push them down and it clips around kind of the ridges, and it smashes itself, so it makes a really good seal, and you don't need a clamp. That's a pretty trick. I didn't think that. So coming right along, we've got a little break and a wire here I want to fix probably next. We'll put a little I don't know what we'll do to that. We'll figure it out. But that I don't even want to drive 4 miles with that. Walked past my mirror and I seen it, so I put it on there, and that was really stiff, and I shot a little liquid wrench on it, and now she moves pretty well. So gonna need a mirror to get there. So got that. Also I fixed this wire. I put 3 pieces of heat shrink on it, one after another, and then I also put a new end on it. These ends, this one's broken, it's cracked, and you know, I can squeeze it and push it on there and it won't work. If you want to use your ends again and not crack them, how do they do that? I think what you do is you heat it up cherry, and then you just let it cool down, and what's the word I'm looking for? The brass, or the copper, I can't remember. It anodizes it if you heat it up and then let it, and then it becomes malleable again. If you after a time they come brittle, but you can heat this back up cherry and let it cool down. I think that's how that works. I'll have to try that out. And then you can squeeze it, but if you just squeeze it like it is, it'll crack it, and once it's cracked, it's cracked. Okay, next, pipes. I did find also a little bag of lug nuts. So instead of having 2 lug nuts on it, I have 4 now, which is going to be beneficial if you drive it. Have to clean out my air cleaner too, and then we'll put our heater hose on also. I had this tirade on my other Beetle about the pea shooters on the passenger side, about how far they went. in and out. And this Clockerholm muffler, it's a Dutch muffler, they only let you put them in there, you just put them in there to the max, because there is no tube. There is no tube inside there. See what the deal is on the original ones. There was a tube back here, and you put this a certain amount of way away from that tube, so when the exhaust was rushing through and coming out this pipe, it was causing a vacuum. It's Bernoulli's principle. It's creating a vacuum and making a draw on that pipe right there, that little pipe, from the other side, and so it's drawing hot gas, hot exhaust, and preheating your carburetor. But apparently this muffler does it internally somehow, but probably not. You have to have a certain amount of trust that it's actually going to work. So I hope they figured that out. I hope it's just not a can. Okay, so I'm hoping they did this right, because there's nothing I can do about it. These are very tight. I'm going to have to find a socket or something to get on there. And the reason why they're so tight is because you don't want any leaks. When you go and clamp that down, it gives a little squeeze, and you get an airtight fit. So you put those on there and then stick it up there like that. Don't forget about I have an exhaust cone that I chucked up in the vise, and I put that little gasket on there, and I didn't put it on the pipe. I put it on there, and then I had a 32 millimeter socket, and I kind of tapped it down a little bit, and it expanded it a little bit, and it allowed me, and I turned it over, and it allowed me to get that on there. So you might want to try something like that also. Alright, I didn't want to bore you, so I slapped on some fenders, 4 bolts apiece, mirror, rear fender, some lights. This one's got a hole in it. I've got another light for it. And the only thing I've got left to do is air cleaner and a seat belt. And I went and got this, and that's insurance policy. I went and printed it off. I know what my last name is, and that's an immediate meet with Officer O'Malley and the FBI, and confiscation of the car, and jail time, and writs of habeas corpus, and letters to the judge, and apologies, and yeah. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do this all legally. And it cost me, and it cost me $40 to add it to my insurance policy. So it's just liability insurance, 25, 50, 25, and uninsured motorist. But for that, I'm not fooling around with it anymore. Just get the damn thing. Just get some insurance on it. And I put the tag on the back of it. I was going to fudge it and use the other tag. I'm not doing that because I know what my last name is, and that it just attracts police. So let's get the air cleaner on it. I gave it a gas bath last night and let it dry out really good. And we'll put a seat belt in it, and we'll take this up to the get the VIN checked out on it. Make sure you put your oil in. Goes up to, there's a little arrow like stamped in there. This right now is tits on a bore hog. It won't work unless you have the little flapper, and it's connected to a cable, and then the cable comes down and it's attached to your little. We'll fix that later. It's like I said, I'm just trying to get her to the DMV. So. Okay, let's put some seat belts in it. It's literally a fist fight getting this mouse piss seat belt to work. Jeez, unbelievable. But I finally got it. I finally got it put in there where it'll move, and it'll clip clip down into the deal there. I better tighten up my battery cable too. Running a little fast, a little goofy, but it's okay, because we just got to go a few miles. All right, let's hop in, and don't forget my sunglasses on top. Must be something wrong with the gas gauge. I put 2 gallons of gas in it and it's not registering like it should. This one steers a lot lighter than the 67. Something's kind of rumbly in the back I don't like. Kind of a rumbly. It's probably that transmission. Either that or it's my wheel bearings. But I looked at those looked okay, and I repacked them. Just over this hill. Okay, in Oklahoma we have what they call a black tag, so you can get your tags, but you can't drive it unless you have insurance, and I have insurance on it. I've got my lien or my title hold release, and I have my new tag, so I'm going to put that on there, and I'll be all legal. So, drove it all the way up here, and no issues. Didn't get hot. I wish there was a gas station close. I'd go and pump some gas in it. I might do that anyways. Okay, I'm going to take a little detour. I need to go to a store, and I probably will put some gas in it. Well, I'm on my way back. I had some problems trying to get this thing running. I don't know what it is. When you stop, it doesn't like staying running, that's for sure. So I think it's my electromagnetic cutoff jet, because it's not clicking. And of course I'm hitting every red light in town. So anyways, let me get this thing back home and we'll end this. Okay. Well, a lot of things occurred during this trip. A lot of little things that we'll have to address. I had my starter grind on me. Don't know what that's all about. The starter kind of makes a funny noise when you start it, so don't know what that is. I like the steering on it. It's very light. The steering is much lighter than this. This steering over here is real heavy. I need to look at the steering box on that. And I told you I had to fidget with the points on this, but that's to be expected because I didn't do anything to it except clean it, really. Put it, so nothing. And the engine is just, jeez, I mean, I drove it, 5 or 6 miles, and it's, it's not even barely warm. So I wonder if the thermostat's open. Let me have a look at that. No, thermostat isn't even open. Not, maybe a little bit, but that's how cool it is. Golly. Okay, well, there you go. Running and driving. And I got that. Progress. Okay, now I'll have to take all the fenders off, start working on the body again, figure out what's wrong with that starter. Have to take that down and look at it. Of course, the distributor and the fuel pump and the carburetor need to be rebuilt. All that door work and stuff, can't really do that until I get to about $150 for a pair of these. Got a vent glass. Yeah, coming along. Alright, well, sorry this is taking so long to get this out, but thanks for wrenching with me in my garage, and thanks for my Volkswagen, putting up with my Volkswagen madness. Alright, y'all take care. See you.